Hi, this is Dr. Sigmund with Core Chiropractic, and I'm here today to talk to you about some things I get a lot of questions about whenever we're at our desks, in the best way that we can possibly have the proper ergonomics at our desk to save a lot of issues that we tend to build up in our shoulders and our neck. So one of the things I like to talk to people about mainly is the three main components. The first one really being is the monitor. So the monitor itself needs to have a couple different aspects. The first thing that needs to do is the monitor needs to be at the correct height. I ask people to have their monitors at eye level, about 2 to 3 inches below the top of the monitor. What this allows us to do is to keep our heads in a proper position, so that way we're not constantly having to hunch over and look at our monitors if they're too low. Now there's a couple different devices that you can do to help with the monitor to raise it up. One of the first things that you can do is get a small riser. They do sell these at local stores such as Office Depot. You can also, if you don't want to spend the money on one, you can also just place a couple of books underneath the monitor to put it at a good level for your eye height, so that way you're not constantly putting pressure on the neck, having to lean forward to look at a low monitor. One of the other things you want to make sure that you're doing is making sure that the monitor itself is at arm's length. So you just place the arm out, make sure it's at arm length away from the body, mainly because some people have the monitors that are too close. So what they really want to do is always constantly being hunching over and getting closer to the monitor, because what happens over time is that if they're too close to the monitor, they do develop a lot of eye strain. And as those eye muscles weaken, what happens is your head starts to just carry more and more forward, so that way you can see the monitor better. That leads to a lot of repetitive strain injury, not only to the neck, but the upper back as well. So also what I want to make sure that we're doing is that the reducing glare on the monitor. This is another thing that can happen if the monitor itself is starting to reflect light. So one of the things you can do is tilt the bottom of the monitor up just a tiny bit in order to reduce glare, so that way there's pressure that stops building up onto your eyes. Also, along with the monitor, what we also want to assess is the chair. So the chair, what you want to make sure that you're doing is that hopefully you do have a chair that has arm rests. Now with the arm rest, what you want is to have the arm rest to be at the level of the desk. What that allows you to do, and I'll show you right here, is it allows your arms to sit at a comfortable 90-degree angle with the keyboard, or if you have a pull-out drawer, that way you're not constantly having to push your arms further forward, and that reduces stress not only on the upper back but the lower neck as well. Also, what you want to make sure that you're doing is that you're having adjusting the seat height. The seat height is very, very crucial. You don't want your feet dangling, not touching the floor. You want to make sure that your feet can be firmly planted on the floor if possible, given the height of your desk. Now, for some reason, if you have a desk that's maybe a little bit too high, you have to raise your feet more. You can also get a foot rest or place your feet on a small box in order to make sure that they are firmly planted on the floor, so that way you're reducing the possibility of putting strain onto your lower back. So another thing that you need to be doing for your chair is assessing the backrest. Now backrest is something that people don't normally think about. They just kind of eventually just hunch over time in order to get pressure off their lower backs, just because they're constantly sitting there for 4, 6, 7, 8 hours at a time and just not really thinking about the proper support for their back. So the proper support that you need for your back is to make sure that you do have maintain a good curve in your back. So the curve in the back kind of looks like this motion here, kind of like a reverse C, or almost like a banana shape. That's how the typical curvature of the back is. So you want to maintain that. The majority of times you're seated in a chair where it's very, very straight. So in order to help that out, what you want to do is get a lumbar support. Now these are very, very cheap. They're about a $10 device that you can purchase, like say at Office Depot, Staples. These all sell these types of devices, and it allows you to keep that normal curvature of the back, because if not, what you have a tendency to do when you're working at your desk is you'll lose the curve and you'll start to hunch over. So when you hunch in that position, because it feels comfortable on your back to reduce the amount of pressure, you do develop that repetitive strain injury that we talked about, and that can lead to you having some issues into the back, eventually having some pretty bad pain. And the last thing we definitely want to make sure that we look at is the desk itself. So the desk you want to make sure is at a proper height What you want to also have is make sure that the keyboard and the mouse are very, very close together and that you're not having to constantly reach for one or another. Also, look at the keyboard. So the keyboard itself, if it's on a pull-out drawer or on top of a desk, what you want to make sure is that it's in the middle of your body. A lot of times people want to look at the letter B on their keyboard. This essentially means that that letter B on the keyboard should be in the middle of your body because that allows you to take even out the pressure from your left side to your right side. Also, you want to make sure that the keyboard itself, like we were talking about earlier, like with your chair, is like at elbow height. That you're not constantly having to raise your arms up to type on the keyboard, because not only can that lead to you having pressure into your upper back and your shoulders as well as your neck, but it can also lead to you having problems in your wrists as well if you're constantly having to hold your hands up, or for some reason if it's a little bit too low. So just a few things you can also do for yourself. If you're not really kind of sure how your workplace ergonomics should be, or if it doesn't seem right to you, you can definitely take a picture and use that as a model to show to your chiropractor. We can assess the workplace ergonomics for you and definitely give you some tips as far as things that you can change in order to alleviate the stress on your neck and your back. Also, a lot of workplaces have human resource departments that are certified in workplace ergonomics. So for some reason, if you're not getting some of the devices, especially like with the footrest, a proper keyboard or chair, make sure you contact your human resources department as well, and they should be able to help you out with that. And I appreciate you guys being here. Thank you so much for coming back to Facebook Live, and we'll see you guys again next Thursday at 1 o'clock. Have a great day, everybody.